All right, welcome everybody to step 3 of the OW64 system. I'm here with Dr. Vance Cooper Jr. Now, I just want to do a quick review of step 1 and 2 for those of you who need the review. Step 1 was simply describe a meaningful goal for you, and usually it's a direction, some direction. And for the students, because we're going to be talking to teachers right away, for the students, it might be something like I want to be a professional baseball player. It's a direction you want to go. Okay. Step 2 is to look at the 4 aspects of purposes and goals. We call it the 4 legs on a table. So the tabletop is the goal, and then we give it legs. And I suggest it's 8 times more powerful when somebody does that for obvious reasons, because they're connecting their goal to many more people other than themselves, others, society, family, and what's in it for them, both tangible and intangible. Okay, now we're here at step 3. I just want to know, Vance, what did you do at step 1? And the idea was, even for teachers, just get your student to do something very small, and at least they're moving in that direction. So what did you do, Vance?
So for step 1, I made an adjustment in my routine to making sure that I wake up by 7:15 a.m. and get up right away and without hitting snooze.
And how did you do it over the last couple weeks?
It's been going well over the last couple of weeks. So what I've been doing is it's actually funny because so even though I say I need to be up and ready to start the day at 7:15, my body has started naturally waking up probably around 6:45, 7ish. So I can either when I in those situations, it's kind of going 2 ways. I either start my day early, or it's a case of where I'll be able to have that extra time to be able to kind of get myself together. If I do need to go back to kind of doze back off, I've been able to do that. But nonetheless, by 7:15, I'm up, and that's when I'm really starting the day, out of bed starting.
Good, and it feels good for you. It feels like
Yeah,
you've
it
accomplished
does.
something.
It does. Yeah, I like having getting an early win in the morning. So being able to get up, not going back to sleep, um, that's definitely been contributing to me getting an early win in the day.
Nice. Okay, and then step 2 was giving your goal legs. Okay. How did you feel about that exercise? And is that different than something you've done in the past?
It was good because just starting to think about just kind of getting just really thinking about the ways that my goals and things that I have set up and for myself, thinking about ways that just the different ways that I can the ways that I can have an impact, things that I can visibly see, and then things that you can't see. So just being able to think about it from that perspective, because I think that sometimes people don't think that they are having success, or they don't think that they're making progress because the progress, they're not seeing something tangible. So I do think that just having a recognition that there might be things that are tangible and intangible, I do think that that's important in terms of just feeling like you're actually having wins in terms of the progress that you're making.
Nice, nice. And we met 2 days ago, Vance. And what happened 2 days ago is we discussed how the rules to creating a finalized goal that would go into the OW64. So this is the last stage. It's where somebody builds themselves into their goal and who they want to become. So I'll give you the rules. I'll give everybody the rules, and then Vance, I'll ask you to share what you came up with. Okay? So rule number 1 is it must be written in the first person, right? So I, would be included. It must include a clear completion date. It must connect to you and others, both tangibly and intangibly. It must give you that connection. It must be written in a positive tone. and it must be written in a way that says this is already complete. In other words, you're saying you've completed your goal, and that's how it's written, and you've put a date on it in the future. And then finally, no comparison to anyone else, and show gratitude. So in your goal, you want to build a little bit of gratitude, thank the people you're going to thank, and into that goal. So if any of these elements is missing, the goal's incomplete. So I really want everybody to do a great job. And so Vance, with these rules in mind, let me ask you one question. What is the goal for you that reflects all of those rules so everybody can get an idea?
So based on those rules, my goal is by December 31st of this year, I want to have established myself as a trusted thought leader in the leadership development space. I will have shared my message 60 times a year. The 60 includes 24 live stage events and 36 podcast appearances, which are going to allow me to reach, which is going to allow me to reach the audiences who need to hear what I have to offer.
Right. Okay. Any gratitude in there?
I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the hosts and organizers in the various communities who are going to invite me and who are going to trust me with their platforms.
Nice. And how do you feel when this happens?
When this happens, I'm going to feel confident. I'm going to feel grounded and have a lot of clarity in terms of my goal, or excuse me, have a lot of clarity in terms of my role as a leader that helps other individuals unlock their potential.
Right. So that we can shrink down into a statement. Now, one of the things you said is, I want to have established, and I will say for everybody, you got to listen for these words. As a teacher, it is, I have established. In other words, it's happened and there's some confidence in the words. So I have established myself as a trusted thought leader. Wonderful. You built yourself in there. Or I am a trusted thought leader. That's even better than, I want to or I have. I am a trusted thought leader. And then we can sharpen up the rest of it. Let's put it into a goal. And what I'll do is I'll get you to throw that into channel 1. So state your goal. You could take a JPEG of the middle part of the OW64 because that's where we're starting. And then just put that picture right in there with any other comments. So that's the homework.
Gotcha.
Follow the rules. Encourage students to follow the rules. This is the way it should be done. Okay, and it's the way it is done for all of us. Okay, that's step 3 done. So now we get into comments from both Vance and myself to teachers. So let's talk to the teachers, Vance. Give them a little bit of feedback. Any other comments? When a student struggles with goals, it's usually not because they lack ambition. Okay, it's because no one has helped them connect their goals to who they are practicing being, who they are going to be, and somebody has to believe that they are. It's just not time yet. You're not there yet. So your role is not only to help the students pick impressive goals, big goals. Your role is to slow them down a little bit as well, take them, get them to breathe a little bit, help them with their clarity, and stay calm. Bring them in the present from the past or the future. Bring them in the present. That's where they think they're best. Vance, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that ultimately what you're trying to do is resist the urge to push outcomes right away. So that includes grades, wins, achievements. So when the students start with an identity, the outcomes that follow are going to be a lot more natural and more consistent.
Right. So instead of asking, what do you want to achieve? Ask this question. What kind of person would someone have to be to achieve that? Right? So they got an idea. What kind of person would they have to be? Then help them build the goal from there. The future, working backwards. Vance?
Right. When the students write the goals down this way, that fear goes down and they realize that the goal isn't this promise of success. It's ultimately a choice of direction.
Yeah, and when they include gratitude, thanking teachers, teammates, parents, classmates, the goal becomes shared, and it's not as heavy. It's on more shoulders, if you will. So that's when commitment sticks.
Yeah, for teachers, the takeaway is going to be simple for teachers. You just want to help the students slow down. You want to help them see themselves in the goal. You want to help them understand that the goal is practice, it's not proof.
Right. Uh, my coach used to say, if you got a strong enough goal, nothing will get in the way of your practice. And that's exactly what you're doing. So if you do that, students don't set better goals, they build better habits. So can you imagine they're actually achieving it versus talking about achieving it? And that's why step 3 is really important. That's what it's really about. So stating the goal in that way. Vance, any other comments on your part?
No, I think that this is spot on. I mean, it's like we were saying, it's you want to make sure that you have to include gratitude, and then once you are kind of figuring out what you're grateful for, you're able to stick to your commitments and slowing down, not being in a rush. Uh, I always tell people that you shouldn't have too many goals at one time. And that's a part of slowing down as well. You want to be able to, again, just see yourself in that goal, and then just really understand that process of of pursuit of your goal. It's practice. Again, it's practice. It's not proof.
I just say we're just talking with in terms of leverage and bringing Harada to a broader community, and in this case to the student world. And I was just asking George in terms of your connections and your pathways into that world. And I just and George said, oh, you must ask Dr. Vance when you see him. And then we got off and talked about other things, and now we're back to it, which is good.
No, it is very interesting approach. As I'm definitely thinking about it, because it is a the more we go through these sessions and the more I've had meetings, the more it's like the actual steps in the process is making sense to me. And as I'm using it for my own development, I'm definitely seeing the value in how it would be useful for others as well. So definitely something I've been thinking about.
Very good. Did you speak in forums where there's where you get in front of either teachers or students where you can actually bring this to the front in your presentations? Or because you mentioned about your podcasts and presentations, is your thinking to weave this into those presentations?
I do think that there's some ways to weave it into presentations, especially if, like, I've done talks where we're talking about setting goals. Because like I was telling George, there's a million different ways to skin a cat. And so there's, I've been introduced to other frameworks and other trains of schools of thought in terms of setting goals, but I've never experienced it in this way. So I definitely think that there's definitely value in this method of thinking, for sure.
Yeah, I've come to that same conclusion.